Happy Monday. We all had a great weekend, man. We are live. For those who are watching us live, we're live. For those who are watching on the replay, amazing. We're going to have a great show here today. So the Critics' Choice Awards were last night. I was there. I was in the crowd. I saw a lot of great things. It was one of the better ceremonies that I'd been to thus far. But a lot of people have been chattering about one of the jokes that were made an Ariana Debose's expense, saying that her and Jack Black and Ryan Gosling were actors that wanted to be singers. It's a Broadway actress. Does that make sense? We'll talk about that, and we'll see if was it a funny joke, was it lame, that and more. And how did she respond? Because she did respond. We'll talk about the awards in general. In the same way that we talked about the Golden Globes, is it any indication now of what's going to happen at the Academy Awards? We'll discuss, because there are a couple different things that happened from the Golden Globes to this, and there were some that were right on par with that. There were some people that I saw in there that there were some Marvel peeps running around, a lot of Marvel stuff going on. You know, Echo right now, not probably doing what they wanted it to do, but they got Daredevil Born Again. And what's that tone going to be like? Well, D'onofrio, he addresses that. And in the same vein, you got Jon Bernthal, who was talking about the Punisher and what his role is going to be. Returning roles, and another returning role is Neve Campbell to Scream. Boy, do they need her right now. Is she gonna come back? We'll talk about that. And then we'll also talk about the box office. Wonka has made $500 million thus far. It's a pretty good number for that movie. So we'll talk about that and more. If you're brand new to the channel, you've never been here before, help us get to 200,000 faster than we got to 100. Be part of the conversation. Some people just click on videos and they don't realize it's important. Why? Because you get updates. We do a lot more of these things, and I think we hit 117 this morning. We're trying to get to 200 faster than we got to 100, and we want you guys to be part of the conversation. I'll talk about a really cool conversation I had with somebody last night. I met a few cool peeps last night, but there's one conversation that I had that was, I think there was two things about it that I loved. I told myself I was going to do it, and I also know for a fact I'm the only person that talked to this person about this particular thing in the whole room. I can guarantee it. And I'll see if Rocha says I'm full of shit or not, but I think that I'm the only person that definitely talked to this person about that subject. Vague enough? Good. So we got this and more, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we are going to be taking your questions like we do every Monday. You get so many great questions coming in. You can start firing them in now. The way we work it is that we'll go over the topics, and then John and I will go through all of the super chat questions at the end of the show. So if you have things you are circulating in your brain, start firing them out there now. All right. It's the big thing. It's me. It's John Rocha. It's live. Let's do it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the big thing. It's Monday. It's myself and John Rocha from the Jon Rocha YouTube channel. John, how was your weekend, man?
Good, man. Good. Busy, full of NFL playoffs for sure. And catching up on a couple of movies like The Beekeeper and Mean Girls. But yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. Very stacked. It's hard to believe it's Monday already, and we still got more playoff games. Gotta love it.
Well, it's funny. Do you have to pay for them, though?
Yeah, well, I already have Prime.
Right. I do too, but it's so stupid.
I
like how they make it like a thing. And for the first time ever, you get to pay for the game. What? Talking about and then last night I wasn't even going to go to the Critics' Choice Awards last night. I am a member. I'm an active member, and I wasn't going to go. I didn't go. I haven't gone since 2019. They're always really good, but I just I don't know.
I think I was there the last time you went. I think I went as Perry's plus one.
No, I think you went 20. Did you go during the? I don't remember.
I didn't go during COVID. I know that.
Okay, maybe. Well, I didn't see it. I don't know. I took the last time I went with Finstock. Which was amazing, and I wish I could have taken him again. I didn't have a plus one. Yeah. He was one of the best guests you could ever possibly. He was great. He was great, really fun. But last night I went to the thing, and I was like, I'm just gonna go and watch the show and have a good time. I was like, I did say, because you never know where you're gonna sit.
Yeah.
Like where they're gonna sit. I was like, if they, because one of the times that I went, I was sat like one of the back tables, and I couldn't see shit. Could basically hear. I'm like, I was just running around the whole time, and I didn't pay attention to the show.
Totally.
I had a good seat last night, so I was like, I'm gonna sit. I'm just gonna watch. I'm gonna hang out, and I did. I enjoyed myself. I didn't have it. I was drinking water. That was it. And did you see? Did you see the speech? Did you see the speech with Giamatti, who talked about? Did anyone else have a pizza in a bag? Like, did you see when he said that?
Yeah, talking about the end. Yeah.
So I was walking through one of the breaks, and some lady goes, "Here." I go, "What the hell is this?" And she says, "Pizza." I go, "In a bag?" I was like, "All right." There's pizza in a bag. There's absolutely pizza in the bag. There's pizza in a bag. There was a Baja Fresh joke that was made.
Yeah, he was quizzed about In-N-Out afterwards in the post.
Oh, was he?
It was hilarious. So,
so I'll break this. I'll tell you exactly right away what I was talking about. Right. So last night, as I was walking through, before you get to where you sit down, you meet some people. And I saw a girl. I saw her, and I had to talk to her, man. Couldn't have been a nicer.
Of course.
She was so sweet. She like held my hand when I was talking to her, and I told her, and I said to her, I said, "Look, I love Paul Giamatti." She's like, "How could you not? He's the best." I said, "Yeah, but you were stealing scenes from him." I was like, she said, "Oh," and I go, "You're gonna win tonight, you know that." she's like, and she won. I said, I told you. She was incredible. She was great. Got to meet this gentleman, which was
nice,
very nice guy as well. Told Jason Segel that big fan of Shrinking, obviously. Dude, I talked to him about what you and I talked about, James Marsden, and I told him I said, James, listen, I got to tell you, that jury duty is just next level funny, and what you said about the reason why you were going to do it because you don't want to make fun of this guy. He's like, nah, it's the only way I could have done it, man. And I told him how hilarious he was.
Yeah.
This one was special for me.
Okay.
So that's Susan Downey. That's Robert Downey Jr.'s wife.
Look how beautiful she is. I
told her. So the funny thing is that
she's super talented. Don't get me wrong, but
she was my boss. She was my boss for almost 4 years.
Yeah.
And so I went up to her. She's like, "Oh my God, how you?" And as nice as she has always been, and she's like, she stops me. She goes, "What are you doing right now? Like, tell me everything. Tell me everything." And I'm like, so I started talking to her about like the show, and she's like, "What?" She tell me the full name of the show. So I told her she's like, "I want to look it up." She used to come to all the stand-up shows, back.
Oh, that's great.
She used to come to all the shows, and she was great, and she could tell. I was like, and what I said exactly what you just said. I was like, I said, I was watching you on the Globes, and I said to my wife, "You look exactly the same. You don't age." And she's like, "Oh, come on." I go, "Seriously?" She was great. It was great.
Wait, stop there. So the conversation, did it lead to a possible appearance by Robert Downey Jr. on these light blue brick walls? Maybe.
I'll tell you what I would rather do.
Interview her.
I want to have her on the show.
Yeah, that's fair. Totally.
I want to have her. I think that's the first thing people ask her if you can get Robert. I want to talk to her.
That's a great point, man.
I'm gonna get in touch with her and see if I can get her on the show. I would really like to. Her career is phenomenal, and what she's done in all the times that he's like thanked her and done all these. She's done a lot of different things. So my play is I'm gonna reach out to her. I'm gonna try to get her on the show. So
Smart,
that I don't know if she's still doing interviews. She may say she doesn't do interviews. This one was very special to me.
Hey,
Chef Jeremy Allen. When I talked to him. And I told him how much both of those shows meant to me, and obviously with the connection with my brother and everything too. And he was great, and he was just very engaged and talking. But the story that I shared this one where I told Ruffalo how good he was in Poor Things, and I was telling him about I was like, dude, you had a performance that I didn't know you had that in you. And he goes, "You and me both, man." He was great, but this was the one.
All right.
Even though this one actually first, I took this for my
nice.
Not only because I'm a Stranger Things fan, but because Vivian, my daughter, is a massive Stranger Things fan now, and Steve's one of her favorites. So I had to talk to him. But this is the one that I have to tell everybody about because it was incredible.
Okay. Oh, the man, Paul Giamatti.
So John, I approached him and I said, "Paul, I know you're because he's about to eat." So I said, "I don't want to bother you too much, but I gotta ask you."
You have limited time during those breaks. People don't know you have limited time to go up.
I talked to him before the show started.
Oh, you did? Smart.
Yeah, I talked to him before the show started because I wanted to talk. Because during the breaks you get, like you said, you say one thing to someone
like 2
and
minutes,
barely.
Yeah.
But no, I had a good 5 minutes with Paul Giamatti, and I sat down And I went up to him and I said, listen, I got to ask you a question. He said, yeah, sure, anything. What do you think about this UFO jellyfish?
What you asked him about?
He's a massive UFO guy.
Is he really?
He has his own podcast.
What?
So I talked to him. He looks so excited to talk about it because I don't think anybody brought that up to him. And he's like, at first I didn't know, I wasn't sure about the I thought maybe it was a smudge, but no, it's not. It's not. And I was like, no, it's not. It's not a smudge. And we started talking to me. He goes, what do you think about that Miami Mall thing? And he starts like asking me that. And then we started talking about like the Congress and the hearings. And
wow.
And so I would love to get him on Tuesday show.
Please.
Are you fucking kidding me? I would love to get him on Tuesday show because he's big into that stuff. So
maybe once the cycle dies down and he's in between projects, be perfect time for you to have.
I would love that. Yeah. I would love that.
That's great, dude. I love that guy.
So I mean, he was great. So he was great. And then it was one of those things that I was just like, hilarious. Someone said I was not hitting on Robert Downey Jr.'s wife. She was my boss for a long time. I told her she look great.
You can tell people they look great.
You can say, and what I said, and I even said that I said you don't. Basically, just said you look the same. This is exactly my words. You look the same. Yeah. But they had a great night, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things. Let's. So what do you want to talk about first? You want to get into the main topic, or you want to talk about the
Critics' Choice?
You want to talk about the awards themselves?
Yeah, I mean you're laying the groundwork for it already. Let's go.
You want to talk about the awards? Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the awards first, and then we'll talk about the joke that was told and whether it was funny or whether it was lame. We'll talk about that in a
Also, there's only 5 super chats, so let's go, people.
Stop. Come on. The show just started. Don't do that to people. Stop it. Whoever wants to do stuff, you do stuff when
your address has come through. I'm going to drive over there.
You stop. Leave these people alone, will you?
All right. Fine.
All right. So here you go. There he is, the man himself. Yeah. So let's talk about the Critics' Choice Awards. Like I said, I was there. I was pleasantly surprised with all the winners. I thought it was done pretty well. There are a few that were pretty predictable. Where are these damn critics? Oh, there they are. Critics' Choice Awards last night. Reading the winners from Dark Horizons. Here are some of the winners. Then we'll see the ones that stand out. Best Picture was Oppenheimer. Best Actor was Paul Giamatti. Best Actress was Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Best Supporting Actor, Robert Downey Jr. Best Supporting Actress, Divine Joy Randolph. Let's start with those.
Okay.
All of those were ones that I said, okay, I am surprised that Emma Stone won. Not that I didn't think she was great.
Yeah.
And when she did win, I said, okay, it's a 3-horse race right now. It's a 3-horse race because they're trading awards. You got Lily Gladstone took the Globe.
Yeah.
She took I have to be. I thought Carey Mulligan was going to sweep everything, but I was wrong. So what do you think? Do you think that was kind of a shock, or did you see that coming?
No, I kind of saw it coming. Look, I think the Critics' Choice people talk about Golden Globes, people talk about all these other award shows. I think Critics' Choice is the one that kind of gives you a window, really, into what Hollywood is thinking, what Hollywood overall is thinking. You say, oh, these are critics, but critics across a wide spectrum of thoughts and perspectives and analysis. And I always look at the Critics' Choice and the Oscars. Those are my 2 favorite award shows, obviously other than HCA, which I'm a part of. But like those 2 are my favorite because I have a good idea of what the barometer is in Hollywood for what is good and what isn't good and what is considered by them good and what isn't. So the fact that Emma won and the critics, like, they don't get caught up in, oh, I should vote for this person because of such and such and what have you. They vote what they really believe is correct, right? So I look at the situation, I go, okay, this makes sense. Yes, Emma Stone has been building and building and building with Poor Things. Poor Things has been coming along. Poor Things is doing everything that they thought May December would do. Poor Things is doing. And absolutely smashing everything. And so it's no surprise. But all 3 of those, dude, I would not be surprised if Lily wins, and I won't be surprised if Lily loses because Carey and Emma have delivered 2 incredible performances. And as much as I may want Lily to win, I just think those 2 are absolutely, you can't go wrong with those 2 either.
Yeah, I would probably say that right now, but you'd have to put Lily and Emma in the lead over Carey, obviously now with those 2 wins behind, behind them. But
there's a backlash towards Maestro that I think is affecting Carey.
Yeah, which is I don't get into that stuff. But what I will say is that Emma Stone, when you go into the one thing is that I really do like about the Critics' Choice Awards also is that that everybody has seen everything.
Yeah.
They've seen everything. And that's the whole, like, a lot of the time with the Academy Award, they haven't seen everything. They'll tell you that they're bullshit. Some of these people, no way. But that's why I think what is going to be like you could see Poor Things really being a critic's movie. It really is.
100%.
And so when I look into it, you go, okay, I can understand why she won there, but I'm with you. I could see it going either way.
Yeah.
But man, that was the one that I think was shocked. Divine Joy Randolph, I think she's a lock.
She's been winning all of them, so yeah, no surprise.
I think Oppenheimer's a lock.
Oh yeah, I think that's the best picture. It's Hollywood. It's the Oscars. They want that epic. They want that massive epic.
Yeah,
and I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Oppenheimer.
I had a conversation with a friend I used to work at Fandango with last night, and he was like, I'd like to see it before the show started. He's like, I'd like to see a chance. He's like, I think Barbie has an outside shot. I go, no way. No chance. I was like, Barbie, the fact that I think you said it best last week. Barbie was this year's Top Gun nomination.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which great. They should have one of those every year if warranted. And yeah, that one. So Oppenheimer wins it. There's I don't think it's a chance. Now the other one that's a 2-horse race is Best Actor.
Yeah.
Giamatti and Cillian Murphy.
Now, I don't know if you noticed it, brother, but you're frozen right now on the screen.
He did it again. I don't know why it's doing this on my camera, dude. Hold on. So
you've got to turn something off on.
No, there's something going on with this camera for some reason. So what can you do? Here, I'm going to ask you real quick because I fixed my camera.
Okay.
I'll ask you about the 2-horse race with Giamatti and Cillian. If you think that this could be, if Cillian could wind up winning at the Oscars.
I think this is an absolute toss-up. I really do. I think Giamatti has been coming along as more and more people are finally watching Holdovers. It's on Peacock now for people to watch who want to pay that $5 a month for what they've got there. So the access to it is becoming more available to these people. So more and more people are watching it. And so this is where I think Paul Giamatti is starting to slowly take the lead. And people see Paul Giamatti as a consummate actor who's kind of maybe due here for a victory. And it's a wonderful performance. Now, as for Cillian delivers an incredible performance in an epic film for sure.
Yeah.
But I think there's something about the feeling about caring for Giamatti. He's like one of these people that you just love and care about. And he's always been one of these actors that you've seen him play all different status and what have you up and down the line. So you feel like this is the guy that could take it. I compare it to a little bit to that situation with Mark Rylance and Stallone. Like Stallone deserved to win that Oscar, right? But Mark Rylance had that kind of feeling from a lot of the voters that this was a guy they'd seen work for numerous years. He's seen on stage and on screen. And so they really liked him. And that's why they went the route that they went. I think the same thing's going to happen here. They're both equally damn good performances. I just think people's affection for Paul Giamatti might overcome people's respect for Cillian's performance.
I think you're right. And I think they're both great performances, but I also think like campaigning is a big thing. And this guy's campaigning without campaigning.
Right, exactly. He's eating
burgers. He's eating burgers, and people are covering it like, look at Giamatti, he's one of us. He's just eating burgers on the side of it. He talks about pizza in a bag, the great speech and the genuine speech he gave about his dad. Not being able to, I mean, you're 100% right. That is going to add into all of it because and I've had a 5-minute conversation with the man, and I was already like, I could talk to this guy for 45 hours. He was just like, come on, talk. And I'm like, he was awesome.
He's one of those energies, man. Yeah,
he is. And Cillian Murphy was, great. Great. If either one of them won, I'd be like, okay, 100%. But I think you're right. I think that's going to carry over. And I think that's Giamatti would be I think a better, and not a sure bet, but probably the mass favorite right now, especially after winning last night.
Yeah, totally.
Now, Best Supporting Actor, Downey Jr. seemed, because it was kind of not up in the air, but some people were like, okay, could it be Ruffalo? Could it be Gosling? Some people were saying Gosling, but I think Downey's a lock now.
100%. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. I think it was nice to, how can I say, have dalliances with the idea of these other supporting actors coming in and challenging Robert Downey Jr. But as you said, it's about campaigning. And as more and more people are getting reacquainted with Oppenheimer. Look, it's back out in theaters and IMAX for people to go see again. They're really seeing Robert Downey Jr.'s performance all over again, reappreciating it. He's doing interviews. What was the most recent interview he did? Speaking about how people have been saying to him, this is the most incredible performance of his career. And he said, I think that's a bit of a bias because I think I delivered incredible stuff during the Marvel movies. And so clearly this is a guy who's understanding how to keep his feet in both sides of the fence here and please both fans here who like the more standard fare and who like the Marvel fare. And so I think it's smart of him, and people just like him, and they also feel his due from his story. And it's a damn good performance, bro.
It's a great performance. It's one of those performances that when I saw with Brett, and remember when I saw it, the second I walked out of that movie, I think even in our out of the theater, I said he's in the conversation already. Yeah. It's July or whatever it was. I was like, yeah, this could be it.
Yeah,
for him. And has he ever won?
No,
the Oscar. He's never won the Oscar. Right? Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is it for him. I think he's definitely going to win it this year. I think that it's set up for him to do that for sure.
It's a perfect role for him to win. It isn't like Pacino for Sense of a Woman or Paul Newman for Color of Money. This is a legitimately great performance. And he's
you didn't think? Wait a minute, you didn't think Sense of a Woman was a great performance? Oh man, who's that? A little better. Come on, okay, Rocha, give it right. Come on, ha. All right. I missed the best young actor, actress. I found like a secret bathroom that nobody knew. I didn't have to wait any lines. I found like a secret bathroom. It was like it was like a Batman bathroom. It was amazing. It's like I made friends with the guy who was making the Baja Fresh stuff, and I go, yeah. And so I went out to the side where all the bathrooms were, and there was a line. They were letting people in. I was like, damn it. So I went and the guy's like, hey, back to the left.
Open the
curtain. And I was like, back and to the left. So I went back to the left.
Yeah.
And there's like this little room, and I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is great. I don't even know if it was a bathroom. I was pissing all over it. No, it was a bathroom. But it was this nice little bathroom, and I would sneak out there, but I think I missed the best young actor.
Yeah.
So it was Dominic Sessa from The Holdovers for sure. Yeah. Best acting ensemble was Oppenheimer again.
No surprise.
Best director, Nolan's a lock, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he's gonna win. I think he's gonna win. Yeah.
So I don't think there's gonna be a lot of surprises. Best original screenplay, Gerwig and Baumbach won. I think that'll probably happen too.
Yeah.
Adapted screenplay was American Fiction, which was great. I got a chance to meet Jeffrey Wright, which was awesome.
Nice, man.
He's one of the first people that I actually saw when I was there. Best cinematography for Oppenheimer, and best production design, Sarah Greenwood. The TV, I don't know, is this editing, costume design here?
I'll say this about Jeffrey Wright. If American Fiction, which is a damn good movie, everyone should go see it.
Yeah.
Especially today, it's MLK Day. Go and see American Fiction out of respect for that. But like Jeffrey Wright's performance is so good in that movie. It is fantastic in that movie.
It's his best performance, I think, ever.
100%.
I almost was going to say that to him, but I didn't know if it was going to offend him.
No, tell him. He loves it. I think actors love to be told they deliver their greatest performance. Yeah. The bang, if it had had just a bit more bang and a bit more of an emotional journey for him to go on, that was less intellectual and much more emotional, I think this would have put him in contention with Killian and with Paul Giamatti for possibly winning. But it's a great performance. In any other year, he's a leading contender to win. But
yeah, for sure. I thought he was great. But it's just gonna be tough. It's so funny because I loved Anatomy of a Fall so much.
Oh yeah,
and when it won, I was like, yeah, but it was nominated against Godzilla, and I was like hoping. I was hoping that Godzilla.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I know. I was just hoping because it was such like a favor of everybody that maybe they. But
he was there. He was there last night.
I know, but I didn't know. I don't know him well. I didn't know, I would love to talk to him about like the Star Wars stuff and all that stuff, but I don't know, what they're going to talk about. Because the other, I was going to talk to Coleman Domingo, who was there. I was like, I wonder if I should ask him about, I'm like, leave him alone.
Yeah, my man was looking dapper.
He was. Let's see, best foreign language film. Yeah, well, of course he was looking dapper. He was sitting with Lenny Kravitz. That's the best song. I'm Just Ken. That was a shock.
Yes.
I'm Just Ken was a shock. Dua Lipa was there, by the way, who is a presence. She is a presence.
I couldn't be in the room with Dua Lipa.
Yeah, I know they were last night. We just talked about it. So did you? I don't know if you heard I don't know if you heard did you hear that soundbite or no?
No.
Oh, good, it didn't play. It was just me again on a replay of a video. But yeah, Dua Lipa was there, and then I thought for sure that the Billie Eilish song was going to win.
Oh yeah, it's a great Barbie song. That song was
going to win. I couldn't believe that the Just Ken won. I couldn't believe that, but I maybe it was, I don't know. People love that song.
Yeah.
Best score, Ludwig's a lock for Oppenheimer.
Yeah, for sure.
For the Emmys, Succession is going to win everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's going to win everything. The Kieran Culkin speech was awesome.
That was so funny, man.
Awesome.
That guy's been killing it.
Awesome. The thing with the hair and the ears, it was amazing. So good. Yeah, everybody won for Billy Crudup's speech was great too. I loved Billy Crudup's speech, and I loved Billy Crudup, like how he seemed like a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He was like, there's my son over there, and you. He looked like so happy to be there. I was like, that was awesome.
You just never know, man. Actors, they have a wall, and
yeah,
but they all want that award, man. It means something. I know a lot of people want to shit on award shows, and I think it's fair to shit on them sometimes. But for the creatives, man, there is something great about getting some love and recognition for your work, you know. And that's when you see the little kid who always wanted to be an actor.
It's true.
Hop out in those moments, you know.
Look, I'm one of the people who shits on the award shows. I think a lot of times they're boring and pretentious, and I thought last night's show was entertaining. I thought Chelsea Handler did a great job.
Yeah.
But she did a great job, and she was hilarious in the beginning. And that joke about Joe Coy got a big round of applause inside of the audience. I'll tell you that.
Let me tell you something. Don't date comedians. Don't ever date comedians.
I've done it. My wife's done it.
Hey, she married.
Yep. So, but anyway, and speaking of, we'll jump into this. She was funny. Now we'll talk about if we think that. So. Poor well, first of all, it was Anthony Ramos and oh my God, help me out.
Bella Ramsey.
Yeah. Thank you. Bella Ramsey were on stage and they were talking. It was the best song.
Yeah.
And they said, and then there's actors who think that they're singers.
Yeah.
Said Jack Black. And I said, and then when they said that, I said, well, that's confusing. Jack Black's been a singer and been on tour.
Yeah. And
then they said Ariana DeBose. And I'm like, she a Broadway singer that transferred into act like what? I didn't know what was going on. And they said Ryan Gosling. And I was like, the joke should have been Ariana. Well, you have Ariana DeBose, Jack Black, blah, blah, blah. And then you have Ryan Gosling.
Yes. That's the joke.
That's the joke. And I was like, and because they cut to her and I was in proximity to I could see, and I went, yeah, she did look thrilled. And I don't blame her because that joke, it wasn't even it was just mean. It wasn't even a joke. It wasn't a joke because it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. It wasn't like a roast joke. It just didn't make sense.
Even more so because Anthony Ramos was in Hamilton with Ariana DeBose. You know, I tweeted it out last night, and I said, award show writers, it's kind of a thankless job, and I totally get it, but you got to be aware of what you're writing about. And the joke, maybe, and some people push back on my tweet from earlier last night, and they said, it's a joke. We're making a joke. They know this, but no, you can't include Ryan Gosling in the joke with Ariana DeBose and Jack Black, because then that kills the joke, because Ryan is the actual actor who thinks he can sing. Yeah. Whereas the other two, one's Tenacious D and one's a Broadway musical theater actress.
Well, Ryan Gosling was in a band also, too, by the way.
Right. And in the Disney stuff. All that stuff. People don't really know that much about it.
But knowing or not, is that it doesn't make sense all the way around. So
maybe.
I will disagree with you that you can't make the joke. You can. You just be ready. Be ready for the shit that you're getting today.
Yeah, right. 100%.
Because the joke doesn't make any sense. The joke isn't funny. The joke, it's like, you can tell, because there are jokes that will a lot of times, and I think Ricky Gervais is somebody.
Yeah, he's great at it.
He's great at it. You can tell a joke and it'll piss a lot of people off, but there'll be a ton of people that'll go, I don't care what that was funny.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like, you can stick up for the fact that they're allowed to tell the joke 100%. You're allowed to tell the joke.
Totally.
I just think that the percentage of this time around is probably on the 90% sure. like for me, it's like, it's not about I think, because as a comedian, I think you can crack on whoever you want and do whatever you want and say whatever you want. You just gotta make it funny. Yeah. And it's not going to be funny to everybody, because not everybody's going to find everything funny. That's the beauty of comedy in general. But I was in that room and that went over like a fart in an elevator because it was just like it was awkward. It's like it just didn't make sense. I was like, who wrote that joke?
Let me ask you, when you're in the room, do they, because it's been a while since I've been in that room, do they pan to her? Because I mean, when you see it in the,
there was a screen.
So you all see her reaction.
We saw what you saw. Because so she was there, and then they have 3 screens. They have very clear good screens, not like bullshit ones. Really good screens in this place. So I was right, I could see it, and then I could see the stage really well, but I could see where she was. And they panned to her, and she didn't get it. She wasn't like at first, because you can tell she tried to laugh it off. She just didn't get it, and it was like, "What? I don't understand." That's kind of what I do. Is I am a singer. So it was like it just was. It's like saying like, "Oh man, that LeBron James, he's a pretty bad basketball player, huh?" It's like, what? What do you mean? Michael Jordan, that guy never won anything.
It's like saying he's an actor after Space Jam who thinks he can play basketball. That's how you would say the joke with Michael Jordan's effect. That makes no sense.
Well, yes and no, because I mean, and maybe after Trainwreck, because he wasn't bad in Trainwreck,
right?
But because he's not an actor. She's both. She's a triple threat.
Exactly.
So that taking a shot at her, like her, didn't make sense. And I think Ryan Gosling would have been okay with people taking credit. It was just him. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just like. But I also think it's one of these things that we're talking about it today. People will be talking. If no one's going to talk about it in a week or two, it's just and I'm sure the writers were like, "Oops." I don't think they were trying to like hurt her. They were just let's crack on. It may be somebody who just didn't do their research, but it's
that's the problem I have. Like, I put in my she tweeted out on her or posted on her Instagram, "No, I didn't find it funny. LOL." So she responded to it in her social media. But when I tweeted it, I said, like, this is the reason I wrote my speech at the HCAs for Giancarlo Esposito, because I didn't trust a writer to know him as in-depthly as I did. So I asked them if I could write the speech, and they were very gracious to say yes. And so I wrote the speech to give him that award that we gave him, because I wanted him to feel it was coming from someone who knew his work. And some of these writers, they're so busy doing a million things, trying to work, trying to pay bills, trying to take jobs, freelance jobs. They're not always going to watch everything and get everything in the nuance way that they should. I think this is one of those mistakes. And I think you're right. You can tell the joke. You just got to tell it well.
Do you think that Bella Ramsey might have misread the joke or said the joke wrong? I don't know if that's the case.
It's on the teleprompter. There's no way.
That doesn't mean anything. That thing could go fast and I think the answer is probably not. I think she probably didn't tell it wrong, but it just wasn't funny. Anyway, very curious to what you guys think. I want to know, because like I said, there's tons of bad jokes that happen all the time, and I think what it was is that it wasn't. It also, I think, in situations like that, when you come to the presentation, if you don't have comedic actors, you don't have to tell jokes. Chelsea Handler was telling jokes and was doing fine. She was doing more than fine. She was funny. She was really getting the audience laughing, and she had them in a good mood. She hosted the night really, really well. If you have a Will Ferrell there, or if you have a comedic actress or a comedic actor who's in between or presenting, and they start to tell jokes, or if a comedic writer, like someone who's really like, if it's like, if Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig wrote something for Margot Robbie when she went up to present, then I get it. But like, why are you giving Anthony Ramos and Bella Ramsey jokes to tell? During a comedy, during songs, not all those songs were all comedies anyway. It didn't make any sense to me. But I don't know.
And most of them don't read it before they go up there. Right, because they're doing a million things,
and they're drinking and they're having a good time beforehand. It's like it's like, oh, you're presenting next. Okay, I'm just gonna read off the thing. So I think Anthony Ramos is catching some shit because of his relationship with her, and I understand that. But it's like, also, the guy is just like, oh, what? Oh, it's my turn now. Okay, sure. What do I get? I read and she read, and he didn't even read it.
He didn't even read the part that was exactly.
So he probably could have walked off the stage and gone, the same as you and I, but that made no fucking sense. So I don't know. I don't know. Either way, whatever. It'll be gone tomorrow. And it'll be
Yeah,
something.
a lot of armchair critics who've never been in that situation saying Anthony should have done this and should have done that. And it's like,
Come on.
you have no idea.
You have
what it's
no
like.
idea. You don't know the situation of it. You don't know when it came about. You don't know if he was like, "Oh, that'll be funny," or if he's like, "What the hell did we just say?"
Yeah.
You don't know. You're not paying attention. He's not writing the show. He's there to
Not
hang out
gonna
with his
stop
buddies.
the show, right? Kristian's not gonna be like, wait a minute.
No. He's like, exactly. So I don't. People are always like, throw stones. Leave the guy alone. It's not his fault.
Of course.
The writers wrote a bad joke.
Yeah.
And that's it. Anyway, all right, before we move on, we got a lot of other things to talk about here today, and I see all the super chats coming in. We're going to get to them. We're going to get to every single one. We're going to go through our topics, and then we will be here until the last super chat is gone. So don't worry, keep sending them in.
Let's go.
But I want to tell you guys both about Magic Spoon and Blue Chew. That's right. Yes, let's talk about Blue Chew first. Hell yeah. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Come on, let's do it. Let's talk about sex. Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Everybody, you're like, yeah, back in the day, go whenever I wanted to. Well, now you can increase your performance. You can get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew's no joke. It's pretty great. It's a unique online service, and it delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You can take them whenever, daytime, night. You can plan ahead, be ready whenever that opportunity arises. And the process is super simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, then you receive your prescription within days. And the best part? All online. No visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. So, for me, yes, it works. And the thing is, you know, I didn't think I needed it, but hey, you try it for a month and you see, you love it. You can be missing out on the best sex of your life. I'm telling you. They always say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? Do it. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. They do. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. Love that. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. You got to try Blue Chew free, but you got to use that promo code BIGTHING at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code BIGTHING to receive your first month free. Yeah, do you hear that? Free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we got to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast again. I'm so excited to have Magic Spoon back. So you guys have said it. You said it to me lately. You go, hey, you lost some weight, man. You're looking good. I've been trying. My New Year's resolution was to cut back on sugar, add protein to my diet, and I stay on track with my fitness goals. So I was excited to get Magic Spoon back on the rotation. Makes it easy, and it's more delicious than ever now. Growing up, I love cereal. And not even just growing up. Recently, I've been trying. I've fired down sugary cereal for a snack, but the problem is when you get older, you got to watch out for those empty carbs because they add up. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors that you love, but it's got high protein and it's got less sugar. So for me, I did the protein shakes for a bit, but I wanted a delicious way to get my protein before and after workouts, and it's good for a snack. Variety pack, they have cocoa, they have fruity, they have frosted, they have peanut butter. I mix the peanut butter and the cocoa, personally. This pack has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and about 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. There's only 140 calories per serving. High protein and 0 grams of sugar. It's amazing. So if you go to magicspoon.com/bigthing, you can grab a variety pack and you can try it today. So be sure to use our promo code BIGTHING at checkout to save $5 on your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. If you don't like it, any reason, they're going to refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, start the new year off with a great, delicious bowl of high-protein cereal at magicspoon.com/bigthing and use the code BIGTHING to save $5 off. That's magicspoon.com/bigthing. All right, thank you to our sponsors, both Blue Chew and Magic Spoon. By the way, I want to thank the people who DM'd me and sent me Instagram messages over the weekend and saying that they have gotten the sponsors. And they said, actually, one guy was like, hey, I listened to what you said about the sponsors. And I do want to support the show. And I wound up getting a particular sponsor and really loving it. So thank you. That helps out so much. You have no idea. So if you like what we're talking about here, you enjoy what we're talking about here, get our sponsors, The link is in the description. It helps the show tremendously, and you're getting stuff that you're gonna love. So, all right, John.
Yeah.
You're gonna get yourself some of the Blue Chew, aren't you?
Not yet. No,
No.
I still got it.
It's not that. It's not that. It's not a matter of still got it. It's a matter of I want to help because you ain't in no spring chicken.
How dare you, sir?
You ain't no
I'm in my
spring
prime. I'm in my prime.
Bullshit.
But the Magic Spoon stuff is great. Yeah, I've noticed the weight loss on you, Kristian. You look great. Yeah, I know that's something we've talked about numerous times over the years. You look
that's helped,
fantastic.
man. Honestly, the Magic Spoon, dude, like the other night, like because I can't. My buddy put me on this diet, and it's helped, and then after I was eating after 8 o'clock, if I want a snack, that was my downfall. It's like I would get a different kind of snack, or whatever it was, and my friend's like, you can either have protein, or you can have freaking yogurt, or you can have cottage cheese. That's it. And I was like, ugh. But protein, that's what you get with Magic Spoon. So the other night I mixed in a bowl. I was like, okay, it was a great. It was my snack because I gotta stick to this thing.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Anyway. So let's exactly. So this guy knows. He's Blue Chew. Don't need it. It's a tool. That's right. I'm telling you, fact. So all right. Let's get to some of these. Yeah, you know what I want to talk about, John? I want to talk about the box office.
Let's do it.
Because the box office this weekend, well, Mean Girls was number one.
Domestically
was number one at but I mean that's what we usually talk about here, right? 28 million. Beekeeper was 16. What did the Beekeeper crush over?
Beekeeper with 39 million worldwide. Mean Girls 34 million worldwide.
I get 21. I see 21 for worldwide here. Where are you seeing 30?
21 plus the 18 is 39, brother. That's what it did.
No, I'm seeing worldwide. Oh, domestic I'm seeing domestic and worldwide. That's domestic. I think you're wrong. I think 21 million is what
David Ayers
is that what he said?
Right here, deadline. Beekeeper buzzes to a $37 million global.
And what is Mean Girls
at 35 million.
Okay. So 35, 37. Still, they both did really, really well.
They did. For January films, absolutely.
But not even just for January films.
Okay.
For the new way that films should go. The movies cost $13 to make. Both of these movies. They cost nothing to make. They had big enough talent in both of these movies, especially in Beekeeper. You had Statham is really all you need. You had a couple smaller roles from recognizable actors, but like you relied on an old school action movie. You got people into theater. You made your money back.
Yep.
Mean Girls, it hit the target audience. Hit the target audience. So last night I ran into Gray Drake, and she was like, she sat next to my daughter. My daughter loved this movie. My daughter is the target audience for this movie. I thought the movie was fine. I watched your out of the theater reaction. I agreed with everything that you said.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I really did. I agreed with everything that you said. It didn't hit to me in the same way, but I enjoyed it more because I'm looking over at my daughter. It's just like as if I was at a Bruce Springsteen concert. That's what she was doing, right? She was like going nuts, and I was like, that's why when you tell me that movie made the money it did, I understand. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So those two movies crushed it. What Beekeeper? I didn't see you out of the theater, but Beekeeper to me, mine was. I had a blast with that movie.
Such a blast.
It's so fun.
It's a vehicle. It's one of those old school Jason Statham vehicles that he did for a little bit in the 2000s, but it's elevated a little bit. And I use that term loosely because David Ayer is such a damn good director.
Yeah.
He was able to take him and put him he knew exactly how to use Statham. He knew exactly how to use Jeremy Irons and Josh Hutcherson and Felicia Rashad and the people that are in it and the actors from Umbrella Academy, whose name escapes me. They all were great in how he set it all up. And, you went in for a kick-ass action film with a lot of fight sequences. You got that all across the board. And at the end, does it get a little like, yes, but they've earned so much goodwill that you don't give a shit.
There are times they throw in like it's like comic book characters.
Yeah.
Here. And like, I did think the FBI story was worthless. Worthless. It was fast forward stuff. It was worthless. Yeah. You could have just had the back and forth, the Jeremy Irons, the Statham, and then that was it. And it was because it was his version of John Wick.
Yeah, basically.
But it wasn't as layered.
Right. No.
Yeah. There's a ridiculous gas station scene, which I love. And there's this ridiculous, over the top, cartoony South African guy with this blonde hair. It's so stupid. It's great.
Or
It's
killed a beekeeper once.
Come on, you bastard! I'm like, yeah, go for it. I felt like it was just fun to watch that movie.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, it was a blast. It was just a good January kind of movie, but it's just these smaller movies. The reason that the horror movies do well when you spend them, and even that Glenn Powell movie that just came out, Anyone But You, it get shit ratings, reviews, whatever, but it made money because it cost nothing to make. Stop with the overinflated. But did you see the new report about Fast and the Furious?
Yeah, they're going back to
basics. $200 million.
Yeah, because we're going to locations are limited. We're telling a smaller story.
Yeah, we're only going to spend
afford it anymore.
Yeah, we're only going to spend $200 million. Oh, why is that? Because you spent 370 and couldn't hit your billion.
Yeah,
dummies. That was so stupid.
I bet 180 million of it is just actor salaries. The 20 million is what it's actually going to cost to do the film.
Spending $370 million on a Fast and Furious movie. What are you doing? They all hit $1 billion before. They'll do it again. Different time. What are you doing? 150 million. Call it a day. 150. Call it a day. 200 million. We're going back to basics. Stupid. What a dumb statement that is.
Yeah.
It's just like, don't say anything. Just if you don't say anything, and then it's like, what was the budget on that one? Well, this one was only 200. Oh, good for them. But don't make a big bold. We're cutting money. We're cutting money. So you need to cut money, you idiots. You're making the money. They're making the movie for the money it should have been. In the first place. Cost $370 million, and you wonder why you're like, well, why don't we make money on that one?
Well, you also can't have 30 cast members. Like, that's the problem too, is they have so many. They keep adding people every Fast and Furious film that at some point the budget for the actors alone, the salary alone, is just out of control, man.
It's crazy. Do you think that this that's the other thing though? Do you think that this stuff going on with Vin Diesel is gonna hurt the production at all, or probably not?
It's fascinating to me because I think if it gets reported more and more, if more people come out, then yes, I think it will affect it overall. I mean, Vin's been due for a reckoning for quite some time. I mean, he seems to piss off a lot of people he works with. And so to me, this is something that is eventually going to break at some point. And so we'll see how it affects it. But I mean, the story was a buzz for 24 hours, then poof, it was gone. So it all depends on if there's more to come from this and more people come out speaking about what
or it gets settled or something.
Yeah. Or it gets settled, right? It gets pushed to the side and settled.
Yeah.
Kind of like Puff. Puff Daddy was like, oh, you got the evidence? Here's $50 million. Go
on now, right? Yeah. It's funny you say that because until you said it, I was like, oh yeah, because that was everywhere and that's nowhere. So we got the box office. Speaking of the box office, also, let's talk about another movie that just I think went way over expectations, and that's Wonka, right?
Yeah, Wonka, 500 million.
Yeah, dude. Wonka it's done 500 thus far.
Yeah.
Dark Horizons, Warner Brothers Pictures, Village Roadshow, and Heyday Films. Wonka reportedly crossed the 500 million mark globally this weekend. As of Sunday, the film has reached $505 million, with $329 million of that from outside North America. On top, it has several major markets to go. In some key markets, it has done gangbuster business, including $71 million in the UK, $21 million in Australia, $25 million in France, and more. The film has also become Paddington director Paul King's highest grossing film ever. It's leading the solid early 2024 global box office so far. David Ayer's The Beekeeper debuted this weekend and is on track to land 37.1 million worldwide in its opening weekend, with 8.1 of that from IMAX. Mean Girls was 34.5, as you said, and Aquaman and Lost Kingdom is hanging in there thanks to global box office. As of Sunday, now is 373.7. Now it's probably still going to maybe be at a slight loss or maybe break even, but that's, I mean, it keeps on shuggling.
It's made more than Shazam. Now, not profit, but box office receipts. It's made more than the first Shazam film. The first.
Yeah. Oh, the first one, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, it also costs significantly more than.
Well, right, fair point, but still.
Yeah. No. It definitely. I mean, and it's people were comparing it to the Marvels. It far exceeded what the Marvels did, and people were, also saying, "Oh, look, see, this movie. It's just going to keep on doing worse and worse, and it's actually done better. So it still might lose money for them, but it's not going to be a colossal disaster like some of these other DC and Marvel ones that have been recently. So it's good for again, I think it also says a lot about Jason Momoa's star power.
Yes, 100% agree with you, brother.
It's got a lot of star power.
I mean, everyone was talking about him after that last Fast and Furious movie. No one was talking about Vin or anybody else. They were talking about him.
Well, they
And
were talking about Vin. Apparently, the rumor was that he was pissed off at how Momoa was playing him.
just like he was about The Rock.
The Rock,
Just like he was about
because
The
he knew he
Rock.
was going to steal. The Momoa took like a Heath Ledger approach to that in the Joker style. Like he is the best part of that whole movie. He is so, and he knows he is. He's so over the top and ridiculous, and he could have fit into the Beekeeper as well.
Oh yeah,
if he wanted to, but he knew exactly what he was doing. And by the way, I will say, the guy that did the South African cartoon guy was doing exactly what he was asked to do.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
He understood the assignment.
He understood the assignment. I'm not making fun of his performance. Actually, the exact opposite. It's just David Ayer was like, I want this thing so over the top and so silly. And I think that's the same note that Momoa got because he's ridiculous in that movie. And that's one of the reasons I do want to see. I didn't mind that movie, by the way.
No.
I just don't think it should have cost the money that it did.
He was ridiculous in a fun way. And that's what you want from that kind of villain, for sure. Yeah.
But dude, Wonka making $500 million. That's a big, I mean, and couple that with Aquaman that we just talked about, Barbie, Warner Brothers did better than projections. Yes, they still had the Flash that ate shit. They had Shazam 2 that ate shit. And Blue Beetle didn't eat shit. It just kind of like didn't do good.
Right.
But Barbie made enough. Because when we were going over, I don't know if that was with you, but we were going over the numbers of the top studios that did.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
Like did the best. And Warner Brothers was like, I think like number 2 or 3. It might have been number 3.
Disney was 2. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if it's no, it's still because Disney was even with the year they had, they were still close to catching number 1, which is insane. Because they just have so much shit.
Yeah.
So do you think there's going to be a second Wonka?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's no reason there shouldn't be. And Chalamet is due for a franchise, so why not do one like this? And
Dune.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, but that's really him and Zendaya, isn't it? Like that's not really Chalamet only. Whereas Wonka's
I mean, it's ensemble. It's ensemble, but he's Paul. I mean, he's the main guy.
But I'll tell you the difference here. $500 million, that's incredible for this film. And this also was not pitched as a musical. People were surprised that it was a musical and what have you, but no one is complaining. Why? Because it was a great film. Well, it was a good film, good to great film. If you look at Mean Girls, people are like 16% of the people coming out complained that it was a musical.
Really?
Why? Because they didn't like the movie. If you like the movie, you don't care about the switch because it worked. And with Wonka, it worked. And that's why people weren't complaining about it being a musical, because they really enjoy the film. I think Mean Girls is uneven, which is why I think people are coming out complaining a little bit. Like someone posted a video of them in the theater, and when Angourie Rice starts to sing about the guy, when she's sitting behind him, people started laughing out loud in the theater. So
I didn't understand it was a musical.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Well, the studios are doing this thing now, and they've done this report where they're not telling people that these things are musicals.
That's an interesting idea.
Well, because people aren't paying to go see musicals. They didn't tell anybody that Wonka was a musical. Right. I had no clue that Wonka was a musical going into it. And because the Wonka movie, I thought was fine. Wonka movie to me was a Muppet movie without the Muppets. It had that kind of feel to it, and with music in it, but yeah, they're doing this thing where they're not telling people that it's a musical because people don't pay to go see musicals for some reason. There's like this kind of stigma against it. So
certain ones, I mean, because Greatest Showman made so much money, but I mean, you're right. In the Heights crashed and burned.
West Side Story
crashed and burned. So it's unfortunate, man.
There's a lot of them that they just eat it. All right, so that's that. Again, I see people putting in those super chats. Don't worry, we're going to get to those super chats as soon as we finish up all of our stories here too. So keep firing them in there, and we'll be here.
There's only 18.
I want you to stop.
Get over 20, you son.
I want you to stop. There's 18 super chats already.
18.
You've counted them already?
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
Well, then you. No one hired you to be Paulie Walnuts. Okay. No one hired you.
They need 20. T.
No, you. Everybody, if it stays at 18, it stays at 18. If it's 2, it's 2. Stop that.
You put my mother in a home. Put my mother in a home.
I want you to stop this. All right, so let's keep going. And I want to talk about this. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to talk about the Neve Campbell thing.
Okay.
Because I know that you talk a lot about Scream with Jeff. He's
on Hot Mic.
Yeah, on Hot Mic. Well, yeah, John, why don't you do that before we get into this story? Why don't you tell
Okay.
people about Hot Mic and where they can find you and stuff on what you're doing now?
Yeah, Hot Mic, one of the hottest shows about the world of entertainment going around. Me and Jeff Snyder, we're doing it now twice weekly on the Outlaw Nation channel. So head on over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says. We're trying to do one show on a Monday or Tuesday, and then our standard time at Thursday at 4 p.m. PT. We talk about our honest, unvarnished opinions about everything going on in the world of entertainment. The show is not tied to any studio, actor, producer, or director. So you're getting our honest points of views on everything, whether you like it or not. And I think that's what I love about the show. And of course, other things going on there, the Outlaw Nation channel, the Jedi Way, the Geek Buddies, my reactions, my reviews over there, and the sports channel, which I haven't pitched much on here, Game Time. Winston and I going live every week to talk about the NFL. It's a separate sports channel. You can go just look up Game Time in our names. We're going live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. PT to talk about all the games from this past weekend. But the Outlaw Nation channel is the channel you want to go to, my friends. Please get me above 50,000. Come on, guys. Come and fight with me and or agree with me, and let's get to 50,000, please.
Nice. Is that the goal? 50?
50? It would be great to get to 50. I wanted to get to 50 by the end of last year, but unfortunately we didn't get there. Trying to get there hopefully by the end of this year, if not more. So
okay, there you go. So check out John Rocha's channel and please head on over there. Link will be in the description as soon as this thing goes on the replay. Yeah. So let's go to this story, the Scream story. This is Neve Campbell.
Love her.
On potential Scream return, Dark Horizons. Back in June last year, Neve Campbell revealed that she was set to leave the Scream franchise because she wasn't being properly compensated to return as Sidney Prescott for Scream 6.
Yeah.
The filmmakers didn't recast. Rather, her character simply didn't show up in the feature. It didn't hurt the box office, though. The film made $160 million worldwide, and it became the top-grossing entry in the franchise in North America. A seventh Scream was put into development, but it has numerous challenges and currently sits without the last two films' leading ladies, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, or the director, Christopher Landon. Christopher Landon walked away from it, too?
Yeah.
That
happened a week and a half ago.
Oh, yeah. Wow. He said, F this.
He tweeted it out. And was like, this happened actually a few weeks ago, but I'm announcing it now.
He was done. It probably he wanted to keep the goodwill of the fans. Yep. Smart. One of the few ways the troubled production could get back on track was to bring Campbell back, and the actress told Variety yesterday that she could see herself returning under the right circumstances, aka 75 trucks full of money on her lawn. Either way, she hopes it continues. I honestly don't have any idea what the plans are. I know a lot has gone on around it. I'm sure they're spinning a little bit at the moment. She knows she has them by the balls. These movies mean a lot to us, and they mean a lot to the fans. I go to these conventions sometimes, and I meet the fans, and they're frantic about these films. They love them. These films mean a lot to them. The characters mean a lot. So even for their sake, I would love to see it continue. Last report, James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick are effectively starting from scratch on the script for the film. So it could be some time before Ghostface and whoever he's hunting come back to screens. If they want to continue this franchise, then you give her back end and you give her everything that she wants. And that's how you make this film. Otherwise, you put it to sleep.
Wow. I have the opposite opinion. I think you don't bring her back at all. Start over from scratch. Get a whole bunch of new young actors. As you said, doing things for cheaper. Get a bunch of whole new young actors. Sure. Good, just like they were. Nobody who the fuck Neve Campbell was. Courtney was coming off Friends. She's a TV actress.
And it has a name. It has an IP.
Yeah, it has an IP. So you can start over. They did it on, was that MTV show they had, or whatever it was, Scream Queens or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You can do things like find a stable of new young actors like you find with Jenna and Melissa Barrera and start over again. And then, boom, you can jump into this. Don't even talk about that city. Just do it in a whole new city and completely something else, and you reboot it or requel it, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's incredible how this blew up and
that's what I'm saying though. It's like the problem with your logic is sound. Like I get it. I get it. Like, no, I get it. Like, it's like spend nothing, get nobody's, use Ghostface, put it somewhere else. But the problem with that is that if you don't nail the formula on the way back, it is over. I mean,
yes, 100%.
It's over because they're gonna be like, nice try. You don't have Courtney Cox in this thing. You don't have Neve Campbell. You don't have Melissa Barrera. You don't have Jenna Ortega. You set me up for all these movies, and it doesn't relate to it at all. It's just in a separate city, waiting to you're trying to cash in. If it fails, if they can turn it out and make it like really special, sure. But 7 or 8 movies into it, it's gonna be tough. And it's like, if the thing with Scream is, even those last 2 movies, they still relate to the franchise. I mean, you have Courtney Cox, you have the Billy's kid, you have like all this stuff that it's all related to it. So if you and the reason that I say with Neve Campbell bringing it back, because if you want to try to get as she's mentioning, those hardcore fans, like the hardcore Scream fans, the really hardcore ones, they're gonna put up a stink if nobody's in it. Like if it's just all newbies, they're gonna be like, okay, we'll check it out. But like, and if Neve Campbell says she's willing to come back and they don't go get her, those Scream fans are gonna go, well, that sucks. And so I think if you can get her and you can probably give her a good payday and you can make it around her, I think you got to try to do that for this one to get it, because maybe your idea down the line is something they do after you get the goodwill of the fans back by bringing back Sydney.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, I'll say the same thing you just said to me. Your logic is sound, totally makes sense. It's a built-in thing to have her in it. Like, it's a built-in audience that's going to come. It's a guarantee of money,
right?
If you put her in it, for sure. If you go my route, I think you spend the money on finding a really interesting, great director who understands this property and this franchise. And you want to bring, I mean, Ari Aster, could you bring, oh God, who's the one that did the alligator movie? I forget his name. Aja.
Right. He's Alex Aja.
Bring them in, see if they have a take on Scream. So then it becomes about, this interesting horror director that I know. Let's see what their version of Scream is. If you're not going to go the Neve Campbell route, which I think is fair to do as well. So
you'd have to go against kind of what, if you're going to go really scary with it, but it's always been like this kind of satire on the horror films is what it's been. So that's kind of been the beauty since the first one came out with Wes Craven. So I don't know. We'll see. But as far as returns go, we've got another one. We got another return, and that is the one and the only Jon Bernthal. Jon Bernthal's the man. He's talking about returning to the Punisher role. Be the last one before we get to the super chats here. But Bernthal on return to the Punisher role. While Marvel's Netflix series began with Daredevil, they ended with The Punisher, which was the last of the 6 series created for the streamer, and it premiered back in November of 2017. Bernthal starred as the brutally violent Frank Castle, the Punisher, who was first introduced in the 2nd season of Daredevil before getting his own show, which ran for 2 seasons. Bernthal is going to reprise the role for Daredevil Born Again, and the hiring has begged the question as to whether we'll see a full Punisher series again. In a recent interview with Collider, Bernthal isn't sure about that question. One thing he is certain of is his love of the character and the commitment to doing it. He says, I think there's a reason to why that character has resonated as deeply and strongly as he has. In the hearts and minds of comic book fans and first responders and people in the military and all over the globe, I think there's a little bit of Frank Castle in everybody. He exists very strongly inside of me, and I care about that character deeply. I also know that it's absolutely essential that if we do it right, and we have real sacred integrity to the source material and what it is to the core of Frank. I'm going to do my best to make sure that if and when we do it right. How involved the Punisher is in Daredevil Born Again isn't clear. The actor has no shortage of work though, and was more recently seen in Ava DuVernay's Origin and FX's The Bear. I'm actually going to continue on here with keeping in the same vein of I don't have that D'Onofrio picture, so I'll just stay with this. But Vincent D'onofrio, it was talking about Daredevil and the tones, because this is all going to set up to the same thing. Though he came back for a guest spot on Hawkeye, Vincent D'onofrio finally and properly revived his Kingpin character from Daredevil in the recently released Echo. He's continuing on with the character in Daredevil Born Again. The project was shut down during the strikes. It is getting a creative overhaul and will return to filming across a good chunk of the next few months. Due to the overhaul and the quite different portrayals of the character in Hawkeye and Echo, it begs the question, what are we getting with Kingpin? In a post-credit podcast interview, D'Onofrio gave a quick status on how it's going. He said, we're in the middle of production. It's coming out great. And we're putting everything we can into and trying to get into it right, no matter how long it takes us to do that. What's going on right now is that Charlie Cox and I are extremely happy with what's happening. Like, I'm right in the middle of playing Wilson Fisk, that character, so I'm stuck in this place. I know everything about it, but I can't say a word about it. Asked if Born Again will fall under the Marvel Spotlight banner, he confirms the show will totally be akin to Echo and the original Daredevil. He said, "Oh, for sure. I mean, that's my opinion. I would imagine it's going to be." Nobody has said, "Hey, do you know this is happening?" No one has said that, but it is of the same tone and feel of Echo. The attention that the big bosses are giving to it is extraordinary, and Charlie and I are amazed about how much they care about this series, and I can't imagine it being treated any less. The comments come in the wake of Disney Plus adding the Marvel Netflix shows to the official Marvel timeline, and reports of Eldon Henson and Deborah Ann Wolf returning to the roles of Foggy and Karen. So there's a lot there, John.
Yeah,
A lot there. So let's start with that one, man. So D'Onofrio says about this tone. Echo, did you finish Echo?
I did. Yeah, I finished all in one day.
I finished 1, 2, and 3, got the early ones, and I think that's why I said I understand why they didn't drop it all at once, because when it dropped all at once, people were like, okay, I just want to see where the story goes, right? Mm-hmm. And if you watched it week to week, you're like, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it. And that's how I was. Well, I got the first 3, and I was like, oh, I'm interested to see where it goes. And I know it's on. I haven't even gone back to watch it. Okay. And I'm like, and I heard 4 and 5 are the best ones. Yes. And so I will go back to watch it, but I'm not like, I thought the show was fine. Yeah. And it's just, it's forgettable. And so when he says the tone is like that, I hope he means the trailer.
Well, yeah, I think he means that it's TVMA.
Yeah.
And this is a battle that Michael Vogel and the Geek Buddies and I had over when we did our review that's up on the channel. We battled over their idea of dark versus my idea of dark, or some people who think like me's idea of dark. Like, Disney's idea of dark is not necessarily what we got at Netflix. And I think that's where it's going to be a clash down the road with how they do Daredevil Born Again, how they do Punisher, because those Netflix shows were brutal. They told great emotional stories, fantastic performances, Kristian, but they were bloody, they were brutal, they were violent.
That car scene, car door scene, yeah,
exactly. So I don't see Disney doing that, no matter how much they're claiming they're going to do TVMA and do the Spotlight banner. I think it's a shell game to try to get people to try to pick the thing underneath one of the ball underneath one of the shells and be excited in the game. But the truth is, at the end of the day, if they're going to mirror the Echo tone, it wasn't as brutal as people think, as the trailers made it out to seem. There were like 2 or 3 fight sequences that were remotely close to what you got in the Netflix shows. So I think it's an uneven series, and a lot of people are reacting to that quote, being like, oh no, they're going to ruin Daredevil, they're going to ruin Punisher. And I'll tell you this, the first season of Punisher was my personal #1 season of any Netflix show. I put it over any Daredevil season, over any Defenders, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, what have you. That first season of Punisher was my language and everything about it.
Do you know that I don't think I've ever seen it?
What? The first season?
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen it. No.
Bro, I would commit to a series on your channel, watching every episode with you.
I know. I need to.
See your reaction.
I want to. I love Jon Bernthal. So
he's great.
Yeah. And then as far as that goes, having him come back is great. And I love what he's been very consistent in saying exactly what he said, and that's, we have to do it right. So I bet he's one of the voices of going, come on, guys, just go. There's a reason why they were so good, and there's a reason why you got comments like John just made just now, because they didn't try to put kid gloves on it. So don't put kid gloves on it. All right, we're gonna get to our super chats now. But before we do that, I do want to tell you guys real quick about one of our wonderful sponsors, and that, of course, is BetterHelp. This episode of The Big Thing is brought to you by BetterHelp. What are some things that you guys want to keep the same about yourself or your life in 2024? Where are you already crushing it? Think opposite of New Year, New You. Because around New Year's, we get obsessed with how to change ourselves instead of just expanding on what we're already doing right. Or maybe you already finally organized one part of your space and you want to tackle another one. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. I have seen it. I've talked about it many times. You've been watching my show with people who have, Roxy Stryer has talked about it many times, how BetterHelp has helped her, people inside of my family, that BetterHelp has helped them. It's just, therapy can benefit you. Talking, it helps tremendously. So I've seen it. I've seen the effects. I've seen it around me. I've seen people who just have really, really benefited from talking. So if you are thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, it's flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. Very easy to do. So celebrate the progress that you've already made. You got to visit betterhelp.com/bigthing today, and you get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bigthing. All right. Thank you again to our friends over at BetterHelp. As I mentioned before, also, and as I did mention just now when you listen to that. So it's very important to talk to people when you need to talk, and this is very convenient. So please consider it. Go to the link in the description. All of our sponsors are in the comments below. All right, John, let's get to some of these questions, man.
Okay.
We're going to start with Jamie Rell. Says, Fast and Furious. Shit, I'm out of gas. It's true. It's a good call. I mean, let's see if they close it out.
Yeah.
Mike Joyce, how about them Cowboys? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I love when they get knocked out. It's like them and the Red Sox anytime they go bye-bye.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Jamie Rell rewatching Schmodown for the 10-year anniversary. I know it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, 2020. It was funny because I had Ed Harrell reach out to me and asked me if I was going to do like a Schmoes No 10-year anniversary. I was like, the Schmoes No live show really started in like 2011, 2012. So it wasn't a 10-year. But the Schmodown would be coming up to July for 10 years. And the entire channel now, the Schmodown channel there's a few matches that are missing from the playlist, but they're just private. I'm making them public. But Frank Janish went through and there's like, you can find every match, everything. There's like he and we just haven't uploaded it or made them public rather yet. But there's like he made a playlist, like the Rocha playlist, the Merle playlist. He made them all. Like it's going to be it really is like the WWE network over there for the Schmodown.
You know, with AI, you can change the outcome of some of the matches, and I'll happily re-record myself celebrating victories.
Sure,
if they want. So to celebrate the 10-year anniversary.
Absolutely. Next one. This is from Taro. I love what you guys do. Thank you. I actually liked Echo a lot more than I thought. Do you have more hope for Daredevil after seeing Echo? I have more hope the fact that they shut down what they were making to redo what they're doing now because they knew it wasn't going to work and they knew people were going to be not happy, and the fact that they didn't put their feet their heels into the ground and say, no, this is what we're going to do. We're not doing Netflix anymore. They said people love the Netflix thing. Let's stop. Let's bring Foggy back. Let's bring Karen back. Let's just bring them back. Let's do what they want. That was one of the biggest things. They listened, and I think that's what makes me more hopeful.
Yeah, and shout out to my brother on the hot mic, Jeff Snyder. He's the one that broke that story that Karen and Foggy were coming back to be a part of his newsletter there, broke that story. So, I'm excited for it too overall. And I want to say this about Echo. I saw some people going like, of course the men didn't like it. No. Listen, my significant other is a Native American woman. Okay. We watched it. The Native American stuff. What's that?
Someone in this chat said that?
Yeah. They're saying that. So I just want to address that.
Come on.
My Lady Outlaw is a Native American woman. She loved the Native American stuff. It wasn't the Native American stuff that's the issue. It's the logic in the show. Yeah. How are you going to attack Kingpin from Oklahoma? It doesn't make sense. So those were the issues that I had.
Say that every fucking time. It's like I loved Ms. Marvel. I loved that show. There's a lot of different shows. You can't just say that. There's a lot of stuff that I thought she was great in the role.
She was great.
I thought they didn't use her the right way. I thought that the stuff that they pitched inside of the show itself, inside of a trailer, wasn't the show that they gave. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was a fucking woman. Cut it out. Just cut it out. It was the fact that the show for me, and like I said, I started it with there's a lot of great stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's just the tone that they pitched inside of the trailer wasn't the show that I said, oh, they're gonna do that. Maybe it is in 4 and 5. Maybe it could be, and I haven't seen 4 and 5, so I can't actively say. I'm saying what I've seen from 1 through 3 just seemed like an okay show. Didn't say it was bad, said it was okay.
Yeah.
So, but just stop. And every single time, just stop. I'm not saying that it's not warranted for a lot of different times, and I understand why people are going, because sometimes you get people who are just doing that, but also listen to words when people are talking about reasons why, when they have a breakdown of a criticism of a show, and you're like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense as far as why. That's everybody, like for people who hate and people who are trying to protect. That's the problem. Is you're just throwing stuff out there because you're like, no, my side. Listen to people who are in the middle here just saying there's parts of this show that just aren't working.
It's bad faith actors on both sides, man. Both, just like you said, both sides. They're invested in protecting everything or invested in destroying everything. And in the middle is where most people sit, you know.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going here.
Okay.
That was sorry, we did that one. Okay, now this is from Crashing Coyote. I
Yeah.
thought the joke was whatever. It was just a distinction between people whose career life is music and actors who happen to sing in a movie. That's all. Yeah, I just don't think it was. Maybe that was the case, but it just wasn't structured right.
But Jack Black's career life is music. That's what
Right.
people don't get. I mean, Tenacious
Right.
D was not something on a lark. They legitimately toured. They had albums. You know, this isn't Belushi and the Blues Brothers. This was a legitimate band for a long, long time. Belushi and the Blues Brothers. That was just fun for them to do.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. The next one was from Kenneth Colton, who says Robert Downey Jr. is coming for that Oscar. Dune Part 2 comes out in 45 days. Love watching you guys live. Well, thank you for watching us live. I think you're right. Robert Downey Jr. is. I was going over that this morning, dude. The March is probably a bigger, like March is almost like the start of the summer season, even though April is not that stacked. But March is stacked. You have Dune, Godzilla, and Ghostbusters.
Yep.
That's three. Now that's because of the strike, obviously, that got pushed. But like March is a big month, and then May through July is just as stacked. But it's like people thought because a lot of things moved out of 2024, that 2024 wasn't going to be that big. There's some big stuff coming out.
We got a super chat from Rocha says, saying, Kristian, have you seen the outfits from Madam Web? That's 30 days away. What are your thoughts on the outfits for Madam Web?
Are there outfits? I don't know. I didn't see any outfits. What is
30 days away? I can't believe it's 30 days away. I've heard no hype for this film at all. 30 days away, bro.
No, but I do. It's one of those movies, though. I bet you that the out of the theater reaction does very well because people are going to want to see if it's a shit bomb or if it actually is going to be pretty good.
I might drive up to LA for that one.
I'm very curious. All right, Roman Fedoric. Hey, Kristian and John. So awesome that you got to meet so many great actors. Rooting for RDJ and Divine in the supporting categories. Would be happy with Killian or Paul for lead actor. Same. I mean, you're just echoing exactly the same, man. I totally agree with you, and I think that there's a lot of great. And I was talking to somebody about this last night. I was shocked, like, because I gave Coy some shit about. He talked about like this was one of the best years in movie history, right? And I said I don't know if history is exactly the right or whatever he might have said in his words, and he's not here to say exactly what he said, but something on Twitter, and I pushed back myself a little bit in where I was a little bit more like, oh, come on, their movies were fine. There's some really good movies this year.
Sure.
With really strong performances. Are they going to be? I mean, I think all-timers, even though I don't love Barbie, I think it's an all-timer for people that it'll be in the zeitgeist for a very long time. People will be talking about Barbie forever, for sure. Yeah. Oppenheimer is one of those movies. Like there are movies that just stand out, and like, you know, like you go back to 1989, you can pick out like 50 of them that stand out today. Field of Dreams, Batman 89, you know, whatever they might be. There's tons of them. Yeah. But this one, there's a few that will be like I don't know how much Saltburn will be talked about in 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like Barbie and Oppenheimer, they'll be talked about forever.
It's a top heavy year. Yeah. That's what I think. It's a top heavy year. And you know, no disrespect to Coy, I don't agree, but it's a top heavy year more than anything else.
Yeah. All right. Justin Medina. Have you guys watched Mike Flanagan's The Fall of the House of Usher? Really overlooked show. So, you know, what's funny is that Mary McDonnell, who I actually ran into last night, and I talked to her for a bit because we had her on Katie Sackhoff's podcast, which hasn't aired yet, but it'll air soon. And she's one of the main characters. She was nominated for that show last night. So I haven't. Perry loves it, talks about it, like just loves it. She was actually at the table with them last night, like loves it. So I heard nothing but great things. Nothing but great things. I have not seen the show yet.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, it's not. I mean, I think Flanagan's great. It's not really something I would dive into necessarily, but shout out to your Sackhoff podcast. The Sam Witwer one is at 174,000 views, man.
200
now. Wow.
200 now.
Last night.
It crushed. So that one did really well. We've got Dr. Quan Stewart on Tuesday.
Nice.
Vet who is, it's a really, really good conversation. This guy is such a just a good person. Like he basically works with homeless people's dogs, and he found and he did a lot of it just, I mean, pro bono, you know, just help because
That's incredible.
so it's like his story is pretty great. So we're excited about that one. But yeah, we got some great guests. We have like Michael Rosenbaum. We got Daniel Panabaker, Ming-Na Wen. There's some great guests coming up.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay. Roman Fedoruk. Also, John, in complete agreement, after a rewatch, Oppenheimer's my favorite movie of the year. Glad it's getting all the awards. Yeah,
Roman, I agree.
Really, really good.
I'm glad it's back in 4K for people to buy too.
Yeah. Paul, how about this? No more jokes at award shows. I think it just depends. Like I said, I think that when you do it, you should have either a comedian do it, or you shouldn't throw it on people that just aren't ready to do it. And I just don't understand the reasoning behind it.
No one will watch it. There's no jokes.
Ralph. I love that. You know, do you remember where that Ralph comes from?
Ralph Biscuits?
No, Heat.
Oh, yeah.
Ralph, sit down. Ralph, petition for Apes trilogy rewatch with Winston and Coy, and Mad Max rewatch with Rocha. Want to talk about films other than Marvel, DCU, and Star Wars? Love it. Yeah, look, me too. Look, the thing is that what is now changing in our business, and I'm sure you're noticing this too, John, is that more because it was for the last 5 years. It became. I mean, look, we like talking about those movies, the Star Wars and Marvels and all that stuff too. But like, it was the only thing that people were clicking on.
Right.
And the only thing, so you led with it because you're like, okay, we'll talk about it for like 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and we'll talk about some other stuff. So, because if you lead with a Mad Max, or you lead with something else, a lot of the times, people are like, oh, I want to talk about the Marvel or the DC or the Star Wars thing. And then, so now it's like, it's changing a bit, and people are getting tired of it. So you can still, and I'm still gonna cover the Marvel and the Star Wars things, but I'll lead. I mean, like today we had a Marvel and we had a Punisher story, we had this stuff, but I was like, no, I want to lead with this Ariana Debose thing. I don't know if anybody's gonna watch it, but it seems like there's like almost 800 people in here watching this right now, because it's like that's what I like talking about that stuff. I like talking about all of it, but I don't want it to just be that, because it doesn't represent this show.
Right.
It doesn't represent all of what we want to talk about.
Right.
Okay. Matt B. If whoever wrote that joke truly believes Jack Black cannot sing, really needs to check out Tenacious D's cover of Wicked Game. I'm telling you, the joke was, I don't know who wrote that. I really don't. I wonder if it's like someone who's really old. You know what I mean? I wonder if it was like
Here's the thing, Kristian, why do the actors who read it have to pay the price? Why don't they reveal who the writer was of the joke? I mean, I think it's only fair, because that's like, why are they taking all the crap? The writer should take some of the crap.
Yeah, I don't know. Simon Section, as a fan of the late great George Carlin, I was wondering if you heard the AI stand-up that I'm dead. His family are not friends. I did hear some of it. I couldn't listen to the whole thing, but the only thing that I give like credit to that thing is they start off by saying it's an AI impression. People aren't ready for that yet, and they still don't know. It's going to happen more and more and more and more. But it's an impression, and they never try to pretend that they are George Carlin. And I understand why his family would be upset about it. And so that's not my dad's stuff. But it's the same way if somebody did like a voice, if I could do a spot on George Carlin impression to hear his voice, and I did an hour of it, I think it more so would be like, well, that guy, he got his cadence down. But it's because it was a machine that people are like, what the fuck? Like, it's weird.
This is the game now, man.
It's the game now, but I didn't listen to the whole. I listened to it. It was creepy in the way that, like, the way it would structure jokes. He sounded significantly younger, in it, but like you could tell, like the way that they structured, and whoever actually wrote the whole thing. I don't know if AI wrote the whole thing. I don't know, or Will Sasso helped with it. I don't know, but like overall, it was creepy. But I didn't listen to the whole thing.
Right. His daughter came out strong against it.
Yeah,
I understand. And rightfully so.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. The great Bobby Jackson.
Hey,
Bobby rules. One of the nicest people I've ever met. Have you ever met Bobby in person?
I think I've met Bobby in person, but I know, having hosted way back when on the Collider on the show here, Smart Out Live, he was a really good guy.
He's awesome. He comes to every freaking comedy show that we do, and he's always there, and he's just such a nice, humble dude. I love Bobby. Bobby's great.
And Bobby, forgive me if I forgot. I'm just old. So
yeah, that's true. That's why he needs a Blue Chew. Hey guys, loving this live show with the two of you. Not sure if you covered this, but I'm worried about a What If Star Wars series, because I don't know if I trust Lucasfilm to tell the best stories. Thanks for bringing that up. No, we didn't cover it. I've been championing a What If series forever. They did a What If comic series.
Yes.
Back in the day. And it was done. And I saw people that were tweeting about it like, it's a terrible idea. No, you think it's a terrible idea because you're worried that you feel like a lot of the people who just hate are going to be, they won because they're going to change the stories. It's not canon stuff. And then the other thing that is wrong, people go, well, Visions is what if. No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not a what if. They're different stories of different characters and different universes. It's not a what if. That what if is what if Anakin didn't turn bad.
right.
And it's interesting. And it's like I think a better tweet is, sorry, a what if series doesn't interest me.
Right.
That's a better tweet. Not it's a terrible idea or it's a bad idea or you shouldn't do it or no one wants to see it. That's not true.
Yeah.
I do think that, again, we get into this place where I hate that movies and things have the fan bases have become so political where you feel like the one side goes, we won if they make a what if series, and the other side goes, they won. This sucks. It's not that. It's, can you make a fun series out of it? And don't watch it if you don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. It's like I think that it is interesting. I thought the comics were fantastic.
Yeah.
And I really look forward to it. I hope it's good. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I love it. I tweeted about it saying, "Oh yeah, like people aren't going to be upset about this," but I think it's great to see it, and I would love to see, like, what if Palpatine? What if Qui-Gon had lived? Right? What was the big thing that? Remember that monologue Filoni did like a year or two ago, talking about how Anakin might have turned out differently if Qui-Gon had lived, and why everything is tied to Qui-Gon's death, of why he becomes Vader. It's a beautiful fucking monologue. So if you've got people involved and Bobby, I get that you might have some trepidation and concern, but there are a lot of great writers involved with Star Wars. I mean, we've been enjoying Mandalorian, we've been enjoying Andor, we've been enjoying certain episodes of Book of Boba Fett or Kenobi. So why not have some of those writers come in and tackle some of these questions?
Right.
What if the battle had not happened on Endor, but on Kashyyyk, and it was the Wookiees? We could finally see that.
Right. Awesome. I think there could be a lot of fun things. So I didn't understand. I honestly, I didn't understand the pushback against having it.
Yeah.
I can understand someone saying that doesn't work for me. I didn't love the what if Marvel stuff, but to say it's a bad idea, or you don't know, you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
How do you know? How do you know it's a bad idea? You haven't seen it. You haven't seen what they've done with it yet. It could be really good. Bobby Jackson. Also, do you think George Lucas has a clause in his contract when he sold Lucasfilm to Disney that they can't fire Kathleen Kennedy, that she has to retire on her own? No. I don't think that they would allow him to do that because, I mean, maybe, you like you said, if they have special circumstances in there where, they can't. You can't ask a business to do that. You have to keep her on to run the company as long as it's like, well, I don't know, maybe she makes, because he's a businessman too. It's like she makes decisions. He's like, that's not my. I'll put her in there. That's my successor, and see you later. Why is he's not getting involved with that stuff?
No, and Iger likes her. So she's not going anywhere, y'all.
Yeah, no. Okay. The Raven Effect. Hey, Kristian, John, I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't want another Alien movie. After Alien and Aliens, every movie has disappointed me. How do you feel about Romulus? I actually think it's a good idea. I think that you can do. I understand as an Alien fan where you like just don't beat it into the ground. There are a lot of people, right, who think I never want to see a Terminator series ever again because I can't get it right. I am a massive Terminator 1 fan. I love Terminator 2, but Terminator 1 to me is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it is the best of the franchise. And I want, my hope for a Terminator movie is that they go back to that small scale feel of a horror thriller film and make that like what John was talking about before with like an Alex Aja or something, like a Blumhouse type Terminator film. That's what I want to see. And I want to see them do that with Alien. I want to see them go small scale with it and just tell a scary story. Yeah. So I think that it has enough in there to try to warrant to get to that. But I understand when you beat it down enough, you're like, oh, I don't know if I care anymore.
Prey is the one that everyone should look at.
That's right.
I was done with the Predator. I never wanted to see another Predator movie after that Shane Black debacle.
Yeah.
And then Prey came in and you were like, whoa. So if this is the approach, this is the way to go, then I would be absolutely down with that. You gotta honor that first film. You gotta honor the energy of that first film, and I think that's the approach to it. Scale it back down.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, I'm going. So there's some of these things are like I want to say thank you to Danny Banks, 1990. Just put in a really nice super chat. Thank you, Danny. That was very kind of you. Okay, the next one here, Ralph, a Nolan IMAX Western or a Nolan IMAX horror Western? If I'm gonna take one of those, I would say Western for both of us.
I don't think you can do a horror. Yeah.
P.T. Anderson new film with Leo and Sean Penn. Did that just get announced?
Yep, confirmed. And Regina Hall. All three of them being a part of it. Yeah, Jeff broke that last year, and now it's getting picked up and officially confirmed.
Ralph. Is Jesse Plemons the new Philip Seymour Hoffman? That's a good one. That's a good comparison. Unbelievably talented. He was there last night, by the way. Nice. He's fit, real fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. Scorsese cast him back to back. Favorite Hoffman performance, The Master for me. He's great in The Master, and there's something that I love him in subtle roles like Almost Famous. I love him in Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of other ones too, I'm sure.
His last one was great, and before he died, the spy thriller one, Most Wanted Man, I think it was called. But like his villain is still the best villain in the Mission Impossible series. I think.
J.J. Abrams did a good job with that one too.
Yes, he did. I liked MI3.
Really,
he was damn good in that movie.
I agree. Ronan Unchained. Hey, Kristian and John. The Hot Mike Sith Council capes kicks ass. Can't wait for Mandalorian and Grogu film as long as it's simple and budgeted well. From your lips to God's ears. Hope you both go to Celebration next year. I don't think I'll be taking the trip to Japan as much as I would love to. Are you?
I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it, to be honest, because I missed the London one. I couldn't get out there, and I paid for the ticket, so I just had to eat the ticket. But like, I want to go to Tokyo, so it would all depend on finances. It all depends on finances.
Yeah, I understand. All right, we're gonna keep going here, and let's see. I want to make sure that I got everybody else. I hope I didn't. Streamer's doing some weird things with the way that they're spacing these out today. I'll make sure I got everybody's. There's some more because I know. I'm trying to go down, and again, we're still going through all of them right now, too, guys. So, like I said, we'll be here for as long as you guys want. Ronetta W. Happy MLK holiday, fellas, to you as well. I'm so glad that you guys do these shows live. Love it. I watched American Fiction this past weekend. It's phenomenal. So good. Every actor was great in their role. Sterling K. Brown was hilarious. He was. I told him as much last night when I met him. But yeah, he was really good. That movie was special. That was a very special movie. I really was happy with that movie when I saw it. I was laughing throughout the whole entire time. I had a tear in my eye. It felt good about it. It was a very real story, that's what I liked about it. Yeah, it
was a great commentary on certain things, but it was the human interest story that really got you, and following his journey with his family. And there are so many things you can connect to from your own family, your own experiences that you can see play out in how he deals with his family. I think that's the big reason why I think it's such a great movie. Yeah,
agreed. Brianna Pink on replay right now. Have you seen Society of the Snow? It's phenomenal. I have not. Did you see it?
This is on my radar for this week. This is the last 2023 movie I need to see to finally do my list. But everyone says it's great.
I haven't seen it. Okay, here's the next one. Chris Cosson. Hey, Kristian, do you think we'll get Tales of the Jedi episodes focusing on various adventures of Luke, Han, and Leia? Would you want to see that? Look, it's the same thing I said before about the What If series. I want to see good Star Wars stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't think Andor needed a series, and I'm so glad that it did. It's one of the best things written since Empire Strikes Back. So if you get, I'm not one of these people that's going to go, oh, I don't want to do Darth Vader movie. You see, the whole movie was the beginning of the prequels were the Darth Vader story. No, it was like the origin of how he became Darth Vader. It wasn't the actual Darth Vader story. So there's more stories to tell there. However, if they do it and it seems like repetitive and it's the same thing, if you make repetitive stuff and it doesn't work, then no, I don't want to see it. But if it works and there's new stories to tell, then I want to see all of it.
Yeah.
So I just don't succumb to this idea of like the whole, well, no, it would be terrible. I don't want to do that. It would be terrible and it's a bad idea. How do you know? You just see it first.
People live too much in the future fear.
Yeah.
And on Tales of the Jedi, I'll say this, and I know you didn't ask me, but I would say the person asking the question, but I would say I don't know if I'd want to see a Luke, Han, and Leia thing on Tales of the Jedi, because I like the Tales of the Jedi focuses on some of the lesser known characters in terms of Dooku. I love that it did not. We got more with Ahsoka, which was great, but the Dooku stuff was fantastic. So
it was great. Yeah,
I'd like that they do more of that with Tales of the Jedi.
Me too. But it's the same thing though, John. You could say that. But then they could incorporate that with a different character inside of those two, like Luke and Leia, and you'd be like,
"Oh yeah, good point."
Expecting that. Sure. So it's like that's why I always hesitate to go. No, don't, because I don't know yet. I don't know what the approach is. I could watch it afterwards and go, "Yeah, well, they shouldn't have done that. That didn't work out." but yeah, and I can choose like you for that. I can choose not to be excited about that particular episode and go, oh, I don't know, and then I can come out going, that was great. Or yeah, there's a lot of people who again just dig their heels in the ground and like say, I won't like this, and then they don't like it, and they won't turn and say, well, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I try to make that a badge of honor for myself, is that I will go into a movie if I think it's going to stink. And I said so many times that it's going to stink. And if I love it, I will say it. I will not,
Absolutely.
I'm not going to be like, well, I said it was going to suck. So now I have to say it sucks. I won't do that.
I agree with you, man.
Yeah. The Raven Effect. Hey, Kristian, John, I feel like I'm the only one who, wait, we said we did one. Right? Sorry. Yeah. So again, StreamYard's doing this weird thing. Chris Cosson. What was your favorite memory of working for Susan Downey? Her trust in me when I brought her the Wonder Woman script. I brought her the Wonder Woman. There was Joss Whedon had a Wonder Woman script that was with them forever, and it was not good. It just was not a good script. It was very cheesy. It was not good because Silver Pictures and Warner Brothers had Wonder Woman that they were going to do, and this was in 2006, 2007. So my friends Matthew Jennison and Brent Strickland wrote a Wonder Woman spec, and I knew them from Village Roadshow. And my friend Matt Jennison said, hey, we just read this. And I read it, and it was a period piece, and it was awesome. And I took it to Susan, and Susan's like, and she trusted me, and she read it. This is really good. She took it to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers bought it. And and I got Jennison and Strickland their agents and their managers through that. They started working. I think Joel Silver dropped the ball on it. He said, nobody wants to see a period piece Wonder Woman. Wrong. And to her credit, she wanted to keep it the way that it was. So she was on my side for that. She was on my side for the He-Man stuff. Yeah. She was, when I got screwed by that guy that basically ripped me off. She was going to offer to bump me up as a promotion, but there's other things that she was great to me. I have a lot of fond memories of working for Susan. She was really great to me. That's great. Mumra. Sony showed the logo for the new Machio film. Why call it Karate Kid again? Why no subtitle like Karate Kid, Kickbacks, or even Karate Kids? I think because it's just a recognizable IP, and they want to they just want to get people out there to see it. Yeah. All right. What's that?
Karate Kid kicks back. No,
it kicks back. It's hilarious.
That's what Jason states.
Very, very kind. Super chat here from Sandy Martin. As my Masters Universe kin, did you ever read the 2012 DC run? I never read the 2012 DC run. No, is it pretty good? I hope it is. I would love to read it. Thank you for that. I would love to. Tell me more about it. Tell me more about that. I'd love to. I mean, to me, the 2002 Cartoon Network series is still the best iteration we've ever seen of He-Man.
Yeah.
Zuki 86. Have you seen Ted on Peacock? It's hilarious. Definitely R-rated humor, and they go there with the jokes. So I started watching it with Vivian.
Oh wow!
We started watching with Vivian, and she's like, "I don't know, Dad. There's a lot of F-bombs in this one, and I'm a little uncomfortable." I'm like, "Yeah, let's change it." She started laughing at first when she first saw it. She just wanted to hear that, but there was some kind of inappropriate things that I was like, "Yeah, let's turn this off." But I probably will go back and watch it though.
I don't know that your wife would ever approve this, but there is a new show you could put on this channel that is just Vivian talking, giving her reviews.
I wouldn't approve that.
You wouldn't approve that.
No, I don't want her on. I don't want her.
Okay.
After the, I mean, we just talked about just
such a great personality, man.
It has nothing to do with it.
Okay, all right.
The internet sucks, and I don't want when it's her choice, when she can do it on her own, and she wants to do it when she's older, fine. But like, the internet sucks, and I don't want. If I didn't have to be on social media, I wouldn't be.
Yeah, fair point.
I hate it. And I think it's the downfall of society. We're terrible to each other. We're terrible to people. We're so like just immune to the the idea that words on Twitter can fucking damage somebody significantly, and we just want to tear each other down all the time. It's just such a bummer, and I don't want my 12-year-old to deal with that.
That's fair, but I do want to say that I feel like it's starting to turn, and I may be crazy. But it feels like more and more people are pushing back and having the guts to push back on the negative stuff, on the people who grift off the negative stuff. And they're pushing back. And I'm seeing this everywhere, not just on social media, but in our political sphere, in our movie sphere. I'm seeing people pushing back going, no, we want to enjoy stuff. We want to see if it's good or not for ourselves. We want to kind of, so I'm seeing that, and I don't know, maybe I'm crazy or misreading it, but I sense that might be changing. And I hope it is down the road, because I agree with you, because social media used to be a great place to get information, connect with people, do all this kind of stuff. It's other people who kind of twisted it to market it for themselves. And I think that needs to change. And I sense that's starting to change. And people within those things or communities are moving away from that stuff and wanting to have more middle ground type stuff. So I hope that's what's happening.
You're right. You're crazy. All right. So let's go to the next one. So
Very true.
Carlton Rudder just finished Monarch on Apple TV. Fantastic series. Final characters first, then monsters second. Have you seen it? You guys rock. I started it and I like it. I think I'm like 2 episodes in. It's one of the series I'm going to get into. I've been watching Jack Reacher right now. That's the show that I've been watching season 1. So when I finish season 1, I'm going to finish. I saw someone tweet that to me. He's like, how come we haven't covered Monarch? I've seen 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So have you?
I'm 6 episodes in.
Okay.
I'm going to finish it off in the next couple of days.
All right.
Yeah.
Keith Forshee, love you guys. Keep killing it. John, I sent you something via Twitter DM in late December. Enjoy it, and can't wait for Dune Part 2. Well, there you go.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Dune Part 2, man. I can't wait. That's my number 1. I still haven't done my most anticipated video yet.
Yeah, man.
Have you done yours?
No. It's January. We've been trying to do it for 3 episodes of the Hot Mic. We can't get to it.
I can't get to it. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Was I seat filling? No, I wasn't. Someone asked me if I was seat fucking asshole.
How dare you? How fucking dare you?
Filling. No, it wasn't seat filling. I'm a member of the fucking Critics' Choice. Fucking seat filling. Fucker. I'm hilarious. Let's see. All right.
Come on.
I know. No, please. Hey, bring that fucking idiot in. Alan Smithy, Kristian, do you think the alien visitors can control people's minds or consciousness? Is that the scary reality we're being shielding from? Rocha, what's scarier, mind control aliens or AI uprising?
What's the difference?
I'll answer the start of it. Look, there's a lot more to be talked about on Tuesdays about this, but there's a lot. I mean, theories and other things too. I think what I will say is this. I think that because of the stuff, the briefing that they got, those Congress people, which is still insane that the mainstream media is so bought and paid for. It's fucking crazy. But we are going to get another hearing soon, I think, for sure. Yeah. But as far as what's scarier, AI or aliens being able to control you by your mind?
Both things are bad. So I think it's equally terrible. I don't want to be mind controlled by anything, either on this earth or outside of this earth. And AI uprising, I think that's on the way. So
you've been scared about that for a long time.
Yeah, I have, because it's coming. And I've told people it's coming. And when they laughed at me, they didn't understand. And now it's here. Now you're fucked.
We'll be dead before you know it. All right. Disappointed that the Book of Clarence flopped. I thought that the movie was going to be the next Life of Brian with the black cast, but it felt short of expectations. Yeah, I just didn't. I heard it was kind of all over place in tone. I didn't see it. Did you see it, John?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going this week at the Angelica here. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, these kinds of comedies sometimes don't hit, no matter who's making them. These kinds of comedies don't always hit. And it's hard to find an audience for this kind of comedy. I bet it'll find new life on streaming. Once it gets onto a streaming platform, people will discover it. Like they cloned Tyrone, and that wouldn't have survived in the box office, but I think it did great on Netflix and stuff. So
okay, Sandy Martin, the 2012 run was amazingly. Essentially, Eternity War was the season 3 of 2002 series that we never got. How Andorra was brought in was amazing. Okay, I'll have to check that out, man. Oh, sweet. I didn't bring your thing up. Sorry. The 2012 one. This is from Sandy Martin again. Okay. I need to check that out, Sandy. Thank you. That's awesome. That's good to know. I got to make a note of that. Chris Costin, aside from Superman Legacy, which I'm hyped for, which other DCU projects that James Gunn has announced are you excited for? For me, it's Supergirl film and the Batman Brave and the Bold. I'm curious about the Brave and the Bold. I think that Jensen Ackles, if they get him, will be a great Batman.
Yeah.
Not sure.
What do you think about the Supergirl casting? Like Millie Alcock, Meg Donnelly?
I have a bias, and that I really want Isabel May from 1883, and she's not even in the conversation. So until she's what name? Give me the 3 that came up.
It's Millie Alcock, Emilia Jones from Coda, and Meg Donnelly, and obviously Millie Alcock from House of the Dragon. Meg Donnelly, though, did that vampire show, I Vampire, or whatever, and then I think that's right. And then she voiced Supergirl.
Okay,
so recent
Meg Donnelly. What was the girl from Coda? What's her name again?
Emilia Jones.
I think. Let me see something. Yeah, I think Meg Donnelly out of the 3 of them would be my chance, even though I love all 3 of them as actresses.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Is that it? Oh no, there's another one. Okay, so
Okay.
David Ebikime. How about Takashi Yamazaki to direct Akira? About time WB do something with that. Yeah, for sure. But I think I'm telling you, I think he's going to be announced to do Star Wars, but whether or not that comes through, who the hell knows?
Bro, I would 100% be down with him to do a live action Akira because
Yeah,
I
right?
never trusted the Taika thing. I never wanted Taika anywhere near that. So the fact that they might go, if that's a possibility in anyone's mind, I would love to make that happen
Yeah.
because I want to see that live action. And getting it from a Japanese director, I think, makes all the sense in the world with a story like that. So yeah,
Totally. Oh, last one. Hold on. Love you guys. Sincere were Pedro as Reed and Kirby as Sue. Sincere were, I don't know what love you guys. I
that's
think
what I'm saying. Since we're hearing Pedro
since
is
we're
reading
hearing Pedro,
Kirby's,
okay, who would you be ideal? Doom. That age gap is something. I would like to see Henry Cavill. That's my guy that I think would be Doom. That's my favorite choice for it. I love Cillian Murphy, but I think it's a terrible choice. Terrible choice. And I hate the Mads Mikkelsen rumor. I hate it. I love Mads Mikkelsen. I think he's great. He was in Doctor Strange. He's in the MCU. Would be behind a mask. I don't care. Eventually, you're going to see his face. I hate that rumor. So yeah, my choice is Henry Cavill.
what about Gosling? Are you out on that too? There's been
No.
rumors about that.
No, I like the Gosling.
Okay.
I think that because you have a smaller cast, even though Pedro's kind of getting up there more so in star power, I still think you need a big name for Doom.
I agree, especially if you're going to make Doom someone you're going to stretch over multiple films.
Yeah.
And the other thing is for what was being reported, they're pushing. Jeff reported this. They're pushing the shooting of this to possibly Q3 now because of Pedro's commitments.
Yeah.
So that could affect who they could get to play Doctor Doom. So I think any of the names have been floated so far. There's probably conversations and negotiations, but if they change shooting schedules, that may be a reset where they look at new people. So I don't think we've heard it yet. I don't think we know yet for sure who's going to be Doom.
All right, look, that's it, guys. We did it.
Boom.
We made it. We got through everything. And you guys, thank you so much for everybody who put in the super chats today. Thank you very much.
Good fucking job, guys.
Appreciate it. John, we're out of here. Where can they find you today? What are you doing? Got any shows going on today?
At the Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch. I will try to get out something today. I want to do it like a Beekeeper spoiler review, so we'll see. But 2 playoff games, don't expect anything. But tomorrow, definitely there'll be content on the channel. And we'll be going live at 6 p.m. PT on the Game Time channel, which is the sports channel I have with me and Winston A. Marshall. But if you want to watch the Hot Mic, you want to watch Geek Buddies, Jedi Way, all the stuff we got going on there on the Outlaw Nation channel, and head on over there, youtube.com/Jon Rocha Says. Thanks, Kristian. Always fun to do this with you every Monday, brother.
Yeah, it's really fun to have you as well. Thank you guys for joining us here today. As I mentioned earlier, if you are able to and you have the means, please consider one of our wonderful sponsors here today. It helps out the show more than you could possibly imagine. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We got our Patreon. We're trying to get to 600 paid patrons because Mike Kalinowski doing 5 minutes of stand-up is worth it. So if you can get there, he'll do 5 minutes and I'll be watching. So make sure you guys do check that out. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks for checking us out here today. We appreciate you very much so, and we'll see you back tomorrow if you want. If you're checking us out for the UAP Tuesday, we'll be back tomorrow with myself, Riley, and Attack Peter, and then Wednesday we'll be back with Mike and Steph. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you on the flip side. Bye.